So I struggled with articulating our problem over and over again. The thing that I've been working with Ed on is the fact that for folks like us and folks like you, there's no fast way to get your idea in front of, whether it's a panel county driven or private partnership driven or whatever, to perhaps get some of these ideas some traction for a test and a pilot study. So we came up with the sort of the county innovation lab concept based on the Shark Tank model. I lost my traction.
All right, let's sit over here. There you go.
So, using agile methodology, which is a proven software development technique, the Community Innovation Lab will allow both public and private partnerships to accelerate the advancement and delivery of creative, scalable, technology-based, cost-effective behavioral health services through the use of some innovation funding in a low-risk pilot study environment. Imagine being able to take your ideas and do a short-term test, a 12-week test to validate the data and come back one more layer with something really strong. What is agile methodology? Well, it's a philosophy basically. And the difference between old school and agile is, individuals and interactions override processes and tools. Working products and services and demos are going to override comprehensive sort of pre-launch documentation. You don't over-design it before you go and try it. Build it, test it. Work with your people, collaborate on the give and take of what it's going to take to get done over a protracted contract phase, and be able to respond to change. We all are going to work from a plan, but be able to take what's happening right in the moment and modify your plan. So you end up with the ability to gather and analyze relevant data in real time, all under the model of just build it, test it, go out and fail, pivot if you will, improve it, and deliver. So that's the agile methodology, and that's what I'd like to see applied to more and more of these innovation ideas. What are the benefits for the county? A faster track to some viable solutions. We can do this in 10 to 12 weeks instead of 6 to 8 months. I think we'll see the discovery of solutions and opportunities that are not on the radar. We've got job creation potential, enhanced partnerships. I know there'll be cost savings for the private and possibly even the county side, the potential for some ongoing revenue. So what's the model? Well, you look at the Shark Tank, everybody's got to come in and pitch and they negotiate and then it's over with. Well, before that, there's a sort of a setup period of time. That's our action request. It's a simple request. We set up a pitch day where you get to come in and share everything and sell us on your ideas. You win the pitch, you get a formal presentation. But the idea behind the formal presentation is you take your work, whatever you've come to us with, and put it into no more than a 3-page white paper. So very focused analysis of why we're going to go to the next phase. We're not trying to start Microsoft, we're trying to get you started on some data, and tests, more interviews, whatever you need. So then comes the funding and implementation. I wish I could say I had that all worked out with the county, but I don't yet. But I know where there's some funds we might be able to use. And then like anything, we've got to measure it. Depending on the measurement, we either escalate, revise and retest, or collapse it. So nothing wrong with saying we tried it and we couldn't get it through this time. There's always a next time. Oops, one more. So, action request stage. Imagine you've all gone online and filled out forms to get a project started. If you had 6 paragraphs to write, short and sweet, what do you want? What's your background? Is anybody endorsing this? What are your recommendations? What's the core pitch? Do you have any analysis? Do you know the numbers? Share us what the economics are. How are you going to measure it and how are you going to do it? So the action request. Approval to release innovation pilot study funds for this amount of dollars to validate this. Our ROI is X. That's all we need to get started. If you can articulate that, you're on down the road. you'll be able to give us your background, what's been done, the communities. The endorsement. Who are you and your team? How are you going to use these funds? Anybody standing behind you? Long range, short range vision. Simple stuff. Measurement. The key thing is, does it have a human ROI? Who's going to benefit from this? Is there a technology advantage? Do you know if there's a financial ROI? Is it scalable? And how are you going to measure it? And then, real quick, when can you start? Where can we measure you at 1 or 2 or 3 points? We'll set up review and evaluation and give you a go or no go. So for the pitch day, we'll get a coordinator and an assistant from somewhere. We'll make the preliminary selection. We'll convene and schedule a panel. The panel's going to be an independent group. Maybe some business guys, maybe some county people. We'll mix it up all the way around. But they'll have the ability and the skill sets to evaluate what you're going to bring to us. We'll look at the preliminary stuff if I were on the panel, and then we'll get date, location, and time set up. It might be in a room just like this. It's no more formal than this. Come on in. There's you and 6 or 8 people, and off we go. So short presentations, get it done. We'll make the panel, I say we, I've been on a couple of these panels. The panel will make recommendations pretty much on the fly at the end of the day. In, out, how do we go? And then part of the panel's responsibility is to hook up with you and mentor you through the next process. If we believe in it, we're going to help with that white paper. Because we want to go back to the county and help move some things along. Formal presentation. That's where we're going to go work together for 45 minutes to an hour and really force you to sort of defend your white paper. It'll be pretty well thought out at that point in time, and the panel would be in a position to make a decision or a recommendation by the end of the day. So think of it, Shark Tank, what we see on TV is only a small portion of the process. There's a lot more that goes on behind it. So funding and follow-up, those magic funds are going to be out there. We'll recommend a release. It might be $5,000, might be $50,000, might be $100,000. We don't know. Whatever you've come up with and how it gets tested. We'll see that someone from the county is involved in the oversight from somewhere. And then about 12 weeks out, we'll sit down and evaluate it. And then we'll determine the next steps from there. So how do we do this? Well, we've got to market it. People need to know that this panel is getting together. So we want the best of the best in the Western U.S. to participate. We really do. We'll start with the internal programs here in San Diego. We'll get our local people involved. Everybody will come up through that sort of a farm system. But we're going to reach out to the national startup incubators, private capital, college programs, nonprofits, our community business leaders, and say, do you or anybody in your organization have an idea that you'd like to get in front of this fast-moving panel? It might be something spinning out of one of the biotechs. It might be spinning out of this process. Who knows? But we'll make sure everyone knows who we are and what we're doing. And an outreach, just basic stuff. So I thought I'd share with you a process I've been through a couple of times with a typical venture capital or social venture sort of group looking to get something done. They've got an application process, a round, a bunch of semi-finalists, and an interim pitch day. Usually takes about 3 or 4 months to get from the introductory panels through to here. Now, what Steve and Kevin have done is they're kind of a model of the acceleration. When did we start? 4 weeks ago. All right. This is how it needs to happen on a grander scale. So I wish I could say it was completely original, but it's not an idea that hasn't been done. So then there's a third round and a final pitch day and selection and all kinds of things. And then we get started trying to figure out if it's going to work. There might be some demo stuff in here, but it's not quite the same. We're going to take our timeline and compress it to weeks. All right? If you get an action request in week 1 in our process, next week is pitch day. We'll let you know. Be ready. Come on in. You know, the formal presentations will be no less than 4 weeks from the start. We can get you, if you got a great idea, we believe in your action request, a panel can get you to a white paper in 4 weeks, a good one, right? And we get to implement the program. And somewhere in here we'll figure out how we're going to review it and when, but you've got the panel surveillance and support all the way through. The panel will be invested in the success. And if all goes well, by the time they're getting to semifinalists, we're talking to the county, private partnerships or whatever, about the next level of escalation. And that's kind of what we wanted to help the county, utilizing technology, utilizing a forward-thinking process, get organized for the next round. So what are the resources? Eventually a coordinator and an assistant, it could all be part-time. We need an event budget, marketing budget, and someone to help develop the pool of people who are going to be on the panel and keep that really vital and motivating. And access to some funds that can be quickly dispersed. 2 minutes, all right, almost there. So by funds that can be quickly dispersed, we want to find some innovation funds that at a short meeting after that final formal presentation, we can sit down and say, let's give them some money. Turn it loose. I threw together, a budget just because I felt like it, But the idea, we can go back to the county and say, if you get behind this, you can run the whole thing for $225,000 plus the funding we need to put out. So that's us, our Community Innovation Lab. I want to thank Ed. He provided a lot of feedback throughout all of this. But we like to think we might be able to develop some real progress. Thank you.
Any questions, comments, suggestions? Rick, here's the handle.
What is ROI?
Return on investment.
Okay.
So if we're going to put all of this time into one of these things, what's the human ROI? How do we measure that? That's a tough one. We're probably not, because it's all nonprofit and all that, we're not looking for a huge financial ROI to begin with. We're looking for responsible use of the funds. You'll probably get some help from the panel if there's any kind of a revenue potential out there.
Okay, so basically what I'm understanding is your Community Innovation Lab wants to be the person to help us get to where we can get funded faster.
Let's say 4 to 6 times a year, panel meets and does just what we've done in the past 4 weeks on a variety of levels and schedules. Perhaps, let me go back just a couple here if I can. There may be some people that get bounced in here that have pretty solid ideas, but they're not as financially viable as the VCs would want. We could take them right here and get them to the next level. It could be someone just walking in and saying, hey, I had an idea. Come on in. Let's not be shy. John, you had a question.
I had the same thing that hers. I was going to word mine a little bit different. Is when you use ROI, first time you use it, tell what that means.
Absolutely. I assume they was a commonly understood term, and that's my
all
fault.
initials should be,
Sure.
because what's common in one group is not common in another.
Absolutely. Very good point. Thank you. Yes.
So, really great ideas. I'm wondering how it would work with the county's finance system and how everything has to go up for bid, and there are certain parameters around, procurement and stuff. And I wonder if there is any leeway.
I have been through that process. And one of the whole reasons behind developing this is best case scenario. We can go to the County Board of Supervisors and get each of them to give us a little bit of funds out of their discretionary pool, knowing that panel leadership is going to be responsible with those funds. So we want to sidestep all of that heavy contract compliance, months and months of counter bids and whatnot. We want to take a small idea, $15,000 to $25,000 worth of support, and get it to the next level. If it's successful, yeah, we're going to probably have to come up into that process. But it will have further endorsement further traction and probably a very good deal. Anything else? I'm hearing the music. Yeah.
Who handles the financial aspect of it if you are awarded or you're selected?
Let's say you're awarded $5,000. You handle it.
Okay, so you're not necessarily a fiscal agent?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not, you know, we're kind of facilitating some things, but as an agent, no, we're just here to, you know, we recommend to whoever's holding this fund, you get us $5 grand, you get the $5 grand, we'll see you in 12 weeks. We'll enter on board.
But I think the follow-up to our question is that that means it has to be a nonprofit, it has to be an organization, because unless you think we'd be able to give the money to an individual, which is often difficult with government money.
I understand that. I don't have all of those answers yet.
No, I understand, but I think that was what was implicit in the question.
So the panel may be, for better terms, the organization. And there could be distribution to a project.
Right.
I don't know. I have to believe there's a way to do it.